Got the signal here.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Evan and Aaron Show presents the Red and the Blue Soccer Chat. This is your boy, Evan. And I think, Aaron, this is going to work. This new setup, man. I'm having good vibes with it. I really am.
Coming live and direct from Evan's bedroom.
Oh, yeah,
I like it.
It's the best. Wow.
Let's see. We've got. Hold on. We've got. We're just gonna say it's Sam Kerr's jersey hanging on your wall.
Sam Kerr, and then I've got Indy 11 back
Indy
there.
11. That's a goalie keeping jersey, and then Ohio State, and then what's the other?
Oh, I'm protesting the other team this year, man. I'm protesting the other team, what they did.
Well, and who they've chosen in his stead, who has decided to bring one more charge with him.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
Good work there, dude.
So welcome to Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. We're glad to have you here, Aaron. Man, it's good to actually see you and be able to move.
Right.
Amazing what hardwired internet does for you.
Now it certainly does help. So, what's been on your mind, man? Do we just jump right into?
We can.
I mean, do we just start from there?
I need to give a disclaimer tonight, though, man.
All right, let's do it.
We usually have the drafty beverages tonight, Usually have drafty beverages, but tonight I'm going with the whiskey. And ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who know what it is to have a crown put on your tooth, you know that they had been, beating me up for the past 2 hours, and so this is the way I choose to numb my pain. Basically, if I was in therapy, that would be a problem. But
cheers to you. I've decided to switch to these little fizzy drinks that are not very many calories, and
man, that's nice.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Actually, this is one of the I'm not promoting anybody. It's a cocktail in a can, but it's one of the newer ones. It actually tastes better. It's a kamikaze. So if you don't really love kamikazes, which can be a little sweet, but I'm enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it. Does whiskey have calories? Does it have calories?
Oh yes, sir. It's corn.
Damn it. All right. Well, I tried.
It's corn or mash or variety of things. I don't know. This isn't a soccer show about. I mean, we could probably, you know what? We could invite a Chelsea guy on who's a damn good whiskey and scotch guy. So
there you go.
We could have a Scotch and Chelsea show.
Dude, I'm so happy with that.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Okay. But yes, I think we get into it with the USA.
Absolutely.
It's. I gotta say, I was pleased with what I saw in the Morocco match. I liked the lineup. I liked the tactics. I liked the tempo.
It was 3-0, right?
Yes, 3-0, and I liked the quality. The Pulisic, the first goal. One, it's a great ball. I'm not sure if it's Zimmerman who plays it. I think it's one of the center backs, and it's just a nice, direct ball, straight over the top. But I tell you what, it was funny to see his response because it was a world-class touch and people need to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
But when asked about it, Pulisic is like, well, I know it probably looks difficult for you guys, but this is, the level I'm trying to play at, and I expect to do that. And that's what I want to hear from the kid.
There you go.
I tell you what, it ain't that easy to do, and it was sublime. And then the way he commits both defenders, not just the first guy, but his deke on the first guy actually makes the second defender give up on the play. And then Brendan Aronson, who we've been seeing Brendan Aronson come on and play for Pulisic when he's not been available or sub on for him. Yeah. But to have him be there making that run, I think it's starting to come together a bit. 2 more really nice goals. 3-0 is nice. Again, no Mo Salah, not a couple other guys, but again, you can only play who's in front of you, and we imposed our will on that game. And I to just start there, that's what I saw.
Well, and once again, whenever Timothy Weah scores, that's a good night. You're having a good night, and I think you're right. All things were clicking. The first half they looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
Second half, they showed that they could play somewhat shut down
Mm-hmm.
soccer,
Yeah.
which is great. And you're right. Morocco, of course, missing a few people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think the big thing about this match for me was was exactly what you were talking about at the beginning. The level of play that Pulisic and
Mm-hmm.
Aronson, Weah, and the rest
Yeah.
of the guys have committed to. Um,
Very much.
they're acting like this is just, hey, it is what it is. This is the way we
Right.
play. Which some people may look at that and might be like, is that kind of being arrogant? No, it's not being
No.
arrogant. I think it's taking your place on the world stage.
Yeah.
I think you're actually saying, look, we're here to play, but we're here to win. I mean,
Well,
I love that about this guy. This
it's we truly don't have some of the disparities in the locker room that used to exist.
yes, I agree.
You know, five guys playing in Europe. I you know I don't think Tim Howard would have carried himself in a way to be intimidating, but just he's the man at Everton. He's one of the top
Yeah,
goalkeepers in the world,
yeah,
and then you're maybe a guy playing for an MLS club. And 10 years ago, that was a big disparity. But now the vast majority of our guys are playing, not just getting a few minutes for clubs, but starting for clubs all across Europe,
yeah,
starting for major world power clubs. Pulisic at at Chelsea, Weston McKennie at Juventus, Tyler Adams at Red Bull. I mean, and he's going to move on now. He's about to make a move to a big club as well. So we've got plenty of guys, and a guy like Walker Zimmerman is no longer intimidated because of his MLS experience. He uses
right,
it as his
right.
badge of courage and says, "Look, it took me a long time to get here, and now I'm the most established center back on the U.S. national team."
Hmm.
So we don't have those locker room disparities that we once used to have, and I think that builds some unity in the team. A lot of these guys came through together anyway. I mean, you saw
Yeah,
Pulisic give the ball to Haji so he could
yep,
get the goal the other night. I mean, that was a, hey man, you're my brother. It
awesome.
We took our own route to get here, but we're here, and
Hmm.
welcome to the club.
Yeah,
And I just think that's great. I think what we saw in that match, and then to move on to the Uruguay match, is that we've not solved the number nine problem. It's not Jesus
mm,
Ferreira.
mm,
It's not going to be some of these other guys that have had a few moments, Hoppy or Sargent. I think it looks like Timothy Weah playing that spot makes the most sense, even though he may play the wide attacking position for his club.
yeah,
We've got that position covered, in multiple players for the
hmm,
national team,
hmm,
but none of those guys are really capable of playing that nine. Pulisic maybe, but I think in this team you still got to have Pulisic as a playmaker and somebody who's drawing attention because he's going to get his goals. He's
sure,
absolutely going to get his
sure.
goals. So I don't think we need to put him in that nine role. I think if no one else pops up between now and then, I'm with Timothy Weah in that role.
Okay. I mean, at when we played Morocco, Ferreira was up front too, and obviously we didn't hear his name very much. Just I don't know, man. I don't know. They found a way against Morocco, but couldn't find a way, against. I mean, who would you say is better, Morocco or Uruguay? I'm
Oh,
like,
Uruguay without question is better all throughout their squad,
okay, so
and
so here's my point. My point
mhm,
is that if Uruguay is the better team, is the
mhm.
better squad, then do we need to pull the reins back on kind of what we were talking about at the beginning? Are they really coming together? Or, I mean, obviously, I think that both of us would say, even if we were saying, hey, look, things are starting to come together, I think we both would say, but there's still a lot of work to do.
Well, we're the level that this team is playing at is so much higher than
Mhm.
teams we've seen previously.
Oh,
So the
yeah.
nature of the problem is vastly different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the equivalent, if you'll forgive the comparison, it's the equivalent of what Chelsea has a problem with right now. You've
Hmm.
got a great squad,
Sure.
and you have good players at the number 9, but not so good that you're performing at the level you should be playing at. You create opportunities, and guys just aren't finishing in the way that they need to. And I think the United States has that issue.
Hmm.
Created a, I won't say plenty of opportunities against Uruguay, but as many as Uruguay had. Let's face it, the difference in that game was a late save by Sean Johnson. Nice save, nice quick, kind of reaction save.
Sure, sure.
But he made it. But you know, they didn't really have a lot of opportunities. We didn't have a lot of opportunities. They weren't very clinical. I mean, they had a good opportunity with Cavani, and it just got on him in a hurry. So
Yeah.
he'd want that back. But we don't possess a Cavani. We don't have a player like
Right,
that.
right, right.
But we may be better in a lot of other positions than Uruguay. So I think we need to temper the criticism. I think
Okay.
it's we've got, I think, 3 more windows and 8 more games, something like that, uh, to play as a team, to maybe try to figure this out. But honestly, from this point forward, I think I would be consistently using similar guys and inserting a few guys that you think, okay, I want here. It's time to stop tinkering and
Hmm.
start finalizing your best 11, your system, what guys are coming in for who are your best combinations. We're well past like, oh, let's see how this guy is.
Sure, sure. Right. We've got to know now. And I think we do know now. I think our team that's out there, even though, even though we were talking a little bit about the lineup, about, putting different players out there and things like that, I think that we still have a good handle on
Mm,
our lineup. I think that, even if we do stay, um, with Ferreira up front, I think that Pulisic and Weah are playing at a level, being backed up on the wings with McKinney and Musa. Um, I, I just think that you're right. I need to back off. You're right, because it's so easy for us to jump on the U.S. and say, "Oh well, you played 2 really good games," and then boom, all of a sudden it's a
mhm.
draw to Uruguay, and it's like, wait a minute, these guys qualified for the World Cup. They qualified,
Yeah.
and they're in a group that, quite frankly, if they play as well as they played to qualify, they have a shot. They've got a shot. And
Mhm.
I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it right here, is that the US has a shot to get out of that group. Um
Oh, for
so
sure.
it is one of those things, and maybe it is um a group think type thing
Hmm.
that we have as US soccer fans, to be like, yeah, but first sign of a weakness in the armor, it's like, man, here we go.
Well, and I'll probably touch on this in a bit more detail later on. But I think there's only so much you can take away from games like this.
Sure,
You
sure.
know, it's at the end of a long season for everybody.
Hmm.
This is Morocco and Uruguay were out and out friendlies. There's
Yeah.
none of this manufactured Nations League kind of stuff going on to try to make friendlies competitive. People, if you
Ooh,
understand what an oxymoron is, you
really, how do
realize
you
that
really
a
feel about
friendly
that?
competitive. But we did put a good strong lineup out. We did put Weston McKinney out from the beginning against
Yeah,
Uruguay,
yeah.
but we still made a lot of changes. And I think a good takeaway was we made a lot of changes in both games, and the continuity didn't really take a hit. In fact, I think you could say we looked, I won't say better in the second half against Morocco, but there
Mhm.
was no drop off, and they
Yeah.
they they played a business game. You
Yes,
know
they
what I
did.
mean? They just went
Yep.
about business.
Yeah.
Uruguay, again, plenty of subs. They made plenty of subs, and no real drop off in intensity.
Yeah.
I'm not worried if some of those guys come on
Mhm.
for us. I think we're really down to, I probably, if I'm Greg Berhalter, I think I've probably got my 28 guys that I'm calling into the final camp. And I
Hmm.
think I've probably got my 23 guys that I'm pretty certain about. And
Yeah.
it's okay to have 5 guys that you're like, you know what? Do I need an extra right back? Do I need an extra left side winger? Do I need one more tall guy for either defensive or offensive set pieces? Things of this nature, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, also, hey, I'm gonna, wait to the last possible moment because maybe some kid gets hot,
Hmm.
in the German league. Maybe between now and then, Matt Hoppy goes insane. Maybe some of these guys really, really kick into high gear.
Yeah.
So, but I would expect that he's got his. I would expect that he's got his first 22,
Oh, sure.
and then
Absolutely.
there's a handful of guys he's thinking about. But I just, I watch these games, and the next match is Grenada in the Nations League, and I really don't understand. The Nations League in Europe is meant to supposedly create a higher level of competition in what would be another otherwise friendlies, right?
Yeah.
So they're sort of creating the schedule in a certain way, but that's clearly not what's happening here. I mean, the United States playing Grenada. Does anybody remember what happened the last time United played Grenada in Grenada in 1982? It didn't go well.
No.
That was a bad joke, folks. I'm really, really sorry about that. Now I think about it, that's a crass joke, and I apologize right away. Um, I
Hey,
guess I'm just saying Grenade is not going to put up much of a fight,
hey,
and
man, listen. Only the Gen Xers that listen to our show is going to get that. I'm sorry.
right,
Yeah,
right. A few boomers are going to be like, "We kicked their fucking asses. This is what we did."
millennials, iGens are
Right,
like,
fucking down there and film the whole goddamn thing in Betamax,
oh god,
America.
there you
Um,
go. So
so
I think, yeah. Speaking of America, I think we covered that, man. I think overall we can, yeah, we can say, you know what, they they're on the right track, man. They're on the right track.
Well, I don't expect us to have really any trouble. We're playing at home to Grenada, I'm pretty sure, and then we're away to El Salvador. Shouldn't have a problem, but I gotta be honest, I just don't really care all that much. If we were, I
Mm,
I would care if we went down and didn't have a good performance.
yeah.
But if Greg Perhalter chose to use that as a match to play a truly mixed 11,
Hmm.
because this is my thing with the Nations League. From a business perspective, I understand why they've decided to do this. We want people to have a reason to tune into these matches. So instead of Spain playing San Marino or, Ecuador in a friendly, we're going to organize it in such a way so Spain has to play, Portugal or something like that. We're
Right,
going to keep
right,
them at the
right.
same level.
Yep.
I kind of get it. But honestly, unless it's a final match or a semifinal match,
Mhm.
I don't think managers are going to approach it any different. The players, once you roll the ball out there, players are competitive. They're going to try to win the
Sure.
match.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
if if a manager has 4 games before a major tournament like the World Cup
Hmm.
to just he's still trying to decide his best lineup or his best formation, or he wants to be like, you know what, we got paired in this group, and I think we're really going to need to play a high pressure against them, or we're
Hmm.
going to have a problem seeing the ball. Then they're going to use the match for that purpose.
Yep.
They're just screw your fake tournament.
Yeah.
It does not matter, and guys aren't going to get hurt in this tournament either.
Hmm.
You're not
No.
going to see some dude wrecking somebody else in
No.
this tournament.
Not at all.
So
Not at all.
I don't know. Pros and cons to it. I mean, I understand the powers that be, but Jesus, man, how much money do you need?
Exactly. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the halftime of our show. Yeah, halftime, halftime. And for tonight, my friend, I am excited because, quite frankly, I'm sporting the Guardians
The
jersey. Guardiola, the
Guardiolans.
Guardians, because the Cleveland baseball team decided to get rid of the overly racist overtones of their name and especially their
Chief
color.
Wahoo was a bit
My God,
egregious.
it
Yeah.
was horrible, and I'm wearing this because I had a chance to make some new friends next weekend, last weekend. Wow, I just time traveled on us right there, man.
He's
But
special, ladies and gentlemen.
last weekend had a chance to go to the Miami Nation
Oh,
uh,
yes.
and their powwow that was held in Rockville, Indiana, and they were some of the most hospitable folk that you'd ever want to
Yes.
meet. They loved on us with open arms. They told us right from the very beginning, "Hey, we're huggers," and and I was like, "Okay, cool." And they
It's what
got
got
a
him in
little.
trouble with the Spanish.
Hey, there you go. That's right. Exactly. But they were wonderful, and I'm looking forward to working with them and talking with them in
Awesome.
my day job. So my halftime shot goes out to the Miami Nation. You guys, your health,
Fantastic.
happiness, all that good stuff. You know what? Thank you so much for your hospitality. That was just wonderful. I
That's
loved it.
wonderful. I saw the pictures. If you're Facebook friends with Evan or just want to stalk him, uh, check out his photos. It was really cool. And I want to say it's been a couple weeks, so it's Pride Month, and also Indy
Yes.
11 are playing this evening.
Mm.
So shout out to all the LGBTQ plus community, the Alphabet Gang, as long as that is not an
Up,
inappropriate phrase for you.
up.
We are allies. We are your supporters. And also, this is just a hell of a festive month. It's June, and you get to go outside and have a
Dude,
parade
I'm
and be
going
like
Saturday.
half naked in the like
Hey.
Midwest warmth, hanging out down the street, listening to good music and chilling with
Yes.
people. Pride is a good time, folks. So, but
Dude.
remember, Pride
Saturday's mid
also,
70s and sunny. Just saying.
yes, but also a reminder that Pride started with a riot. Pride started
Mm,
with people having to fight for some of the rights that they have now and are still fighting for.
yep.
So, kind of a good segue there. You checking out one marginalized American group
Yep.
and then supporting another. So that's what we do around here. We kind of support. We're allies. So
We are.
shout out and good on you, man. Really,
Okay.
that was cool. I'll have to
Cheers.
check that out sometime.
Yes, sir.
Cheers. Sláinte to
Thank you.
everybody. So
Hmm.
the last time we got together, we had
Yes.
teased everybody and said we were gonna, talk about another World Cup group, and we never really got around to it, so we postponed it. And I think it's good because I think, with the international break going on and a lot of these teams playing, we get an idea. Again, going back to what I just said, hard to take too much away from it, but I think there are things that can be gleaned. So this week, Group E, which
Hmm.
consists of Spain, the continental playoff winner of New Zealand and Costa Rica,
Hmm.
Germany and Japan. Lot of storylines at play here, Evan.
Absolutely.
Spain and Germany, not long ago winners of these competitions, and yet
Yeah.
their last outings have not been the most impressive at the major tournaments.
Hmm.
Japan have kind of, I think their O is there causing problems. What are your predictions here? I've got the spreadsheet open. Tell me
Okay.
what your thoughts are here.
Yeah, Japan has kind of flown under the radar, man. They really have not made
Yes,
a lot of noise. I'm going to start with the play-in match. I really think Costa Rica can do it. I really think Costa Rica can win.
I would expect them to.
And so I'm going to go ahead and put Costa Rica in there. Here's the interesting piece of this. As I was looking at this group and imagining Costa Rica in there, I could see Costa Rica making a beautiful mess of this group. I could see them. I mean, I'm not saying they're getting out. Let me just put that out there. They're not going to get out of this group. This group is too strong. But
Is this the group of death?
I knew you were going to ask that. I'm going to say yes, just simply because of the level of play you're going to get from Spain and Germany, and like I said, it's hard to find a lot about this Japanese team.
Yeah.
They're just not making a lot of noise, and that scares me. That scares me. But I don't know. Go ahead. You were
Well,
gonna.
I think they've just, they do quietly go about business.
Yes.
And you know, Japan and Korea have been strong representatives of, you know, the Asian Confederation.
Mhm.
You know, I at some point in time, you believe there's going to be a real breakthrough. You know, Japan had
Yeah.
it at Japaria in 2002
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
haven't really been able to recreate that. I think South Korea has been the more consistent of the two teams.
Mhm.
But I look at this group and I'm with you. I think Costa Rica beats New Zealand. And
Mhm.
I see two traditional European powers trying to find themselves. I think Germany are in a slightly better place right now than Spain are.
I would agree.
But that said, you look at that, you know, the England match,
Mhm.
and they looked lethargic to let England get back into it as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
You know, they've had good results, you know, in qualifying, but they've not been really truly dominating performances lately.
Mhm. Mhm.
Spain are growing more and more under Luis Enrique, so it's hard to evaluate them right now. In
Yeah.
6 months, who knows? But I'm looking at Costa Rica and Japan, and I'm saying if Spain's not ready, if Spain's having some second thoughts, Costa Rica or Japan's gonna cause them problems. They're gonna score goals
Yes.
against them,
Yes.
and Germany might just be looking over its shoulder. They may not be as mentally tough a squad right now as
Mhm.
they've been in the past
Mhm.
because of their last results. Yes, they're qualifying well, but you know, when you roll the ball out, they look back to their last performances and say, "Wow, it's just not been that great." So,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I, I look at this as a group of death just from the standpoint of uncertainty.
Sure, sure. And I think that also you can make the case, just from stuff I've been reading, you can make the case that Spain and Germany are they're kind of holding something. They're holding back a little.
Mm,
It
sure.
might be too early
Yeah.
to commit. It might be too early to be dominant. And so I think they're holding back, just barely, getting by in the
Hmm.
nations league, nations league and things like that. So maybe that's at play.
Hmm.
However, here's the big differentiation between Costa Rica and Japan for me. Costa Rica is going to create some really, really interesting matchups, and they're going to create a lot of mess.
Hmm.
Japan will score on you. I'm
Yeah.
not saying Costa Rica can't,
No,
but Japan, I
I
think,
get where you're
will
going.
score on. Yeah, and so here's I'm going to say it, man. I'm going to say it, and it may come back to bite me, and that's okay. Um, for Group E, I am choosing Germany and Japan.
Wow. All right, I'm putting it down here.
Germany and Japan.
Germany, Japan.
Yeah, I think whenever you look at it, whenever you look at Europe, okay, there are several countries who have a lot of pressure on them, but there are those countries, i.e., England, i.e., Spain, Portugal. I think those countries are the ones who have an incredible amount of crushing expectation.
Hmm.
I I think I can make the case of Germany kind of holding back a little bit. I'm not sure about Spain. I'm not sure, man. I don't know. I don't know. The chemistry may come together. It may come together, and they just
Hmm.
may bulldoze throughout, the entire time up to the World Cup and just, blow Group E out of the water. And I'll be wrong. It's fine. I, I'm just calling it like I see it now. In this group, Japan's my dark horse, and I think that they pull it out. So there you go.
I think Germany is not quite where they want to be, but in a better place.
Hmm.
And I think between now and November, they get it sorted out pretty well.
Hmm.
And I think also they're going to get some help from the Bundesliga,
Oh yeah,
as far as fixtures and things like that,
yeah.
to kind of help them out. So I'm definitely going with Germany to win the group as well.
Hmm.
And I was thinking that I definitely think Costa Rica is going to cause some problems.
Hmm.
I think they're going to frustrate teams. They're going to score as well, most likely, and they're going to score goals that piss you off.
Oh, sure. Sure.
And I think Japan is going to be clinical. So I am saying Germany and Japan as well, my friend.
Oh,
Spain
man.
does not get through.
There you go. There you
So
go.
let's see. Thus far, we have agreed. Well, we're 3 out of 5
I was
on
gonna say one of them. Which one was it that I was like I went totally out of?
Well, you're selecting
Oh, it was
Qatar,
Group A. Group
Qatar.
A. Yeah,
You're
yeah, yeah,
selecting. By the way, we need to decide. Are we going with Qatar or Qatar? Because Qatar is apparently how Qataris would say it.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that.
But the rest of the world likes, especially English speakers, just like to fuck with everybody and be like, quatter. So,
That's southeastern Ohio. That's what
yeah,
that is. That's
quatter.
Quatter.
Because we both went England, USA for Group B.
Mm-hmm.
I went Argentina, Mexico. You went Argentina, Poland.
Okay.
Do you let's go ahead. Do you want to rethink some of these after recent performances? The Netherlands beat Belgium, and then the Netherlands, believe, won again today,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not sure against who.
Mm-hmm.
But Belgium, after losing to the Netherlands the other day, went
Boy,
down
they
a goal to
spanked.
Poland and then thrashed
Yeah.
Poland. But again,
Yeah.
unless I do a deep dive on who exactly was on the field, yes, Lewandowski scored for Poland, but he did get subbed off.
Yeah.
I don't know what level people are prepping for this, how interested they are in being successful. I mean, Kevin De Bruyne did not hold back the other day. He's like, "Look, this is not an important tournament.
Yeah.
It can be a distraction."
Yep.
And I think he'd be the first to admit, look, the second you roll the ball out, I'm going to try to win the match. It's not that, but
He's a footballer. That's what you do.
the
That's what
reason why you set up matches against certain teams is so that you 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 can walk out and go, look, this guys, this is a practice, this is an exhibition. They're showing up here, we're showing up there, because if if the Netherlands go play a Caribbean island team, everybody in the Caribbean island is going to show up for that match. It's going to be a high funding thing, and the Netherlands get to play a friendly and do exactly what they want to do. Some of their superstars come out, and then the manager can be like, "Cool, I'm making 7 substitutions, and I can see if this 18-year-old kid is ready to go," that
right.
sort of thing.
Right.
So I question it. That said, Poland is Poland, and they've got Robert Lewandowski in a tournament. Superstars do what they do. I mean, this is why we come out to watch it. This is why we're watching the World
Yeah.
Cup when it's being hosted in Qatar.
I think we go with Cutter. I think we do what the home bodies say that they are, and I think that's what we do, man. Um, I tell you, one of the things I'm scratching my head about, brother, and once again, you're right. You're right. Like the tournament that's going on right now, the UEFA tournament. Um, I, I I'm not sure very many teams look at that other than as a prep type thing. Oh, well, there you go. Um, but I want to hear what you have to say about England.
England
With
looked tired.
that, yeah, I mean, they did not look good, and this is for me. This is where you want to. I don't know, like maybe get ahead early and then sub. Like you want to at least put something out there. Here's where I will praise the U.S. The U.S. with the exception of this last match, the U.S. with it says okay, we're going to score goals and then boom, we're going to go about business and we're just going to
Mhm.
shut it down. Um, uh, is this not the philosophy to follow if you're England?
Well, again, we've got to look at the circumstances that are going on here that are really quite unique. This is an international break where most teams or a lot of teams are playing 4 matches.
Mm-hmm.
And those are broken up in various ways. They are not all friendlies and they are not all competitive matches. You look at Wales, Ukraine, and several of these other teams.
Right.
Some of their matches have been World Cup qualifying playoffs. So the circumstances, the stakes are fucking massive.
Sure.
And then you turn around and you play a glorified friendly. It's hard to manage the mental aspect of that. It's hard as a manager to manage the players and their expectations for that, because as a manager, you want to make a lot of subs, but you also, depending on what the competition is, England played Hungary the other day in a match that didn't matter. So the
Yeah.
fact that they lost
Yeah.
1-0, it is what it is.
Right.
But it also wasn't a good performance. So did that set the tone for not a good performance against Germany? And then does Germany have to think twice about the fact, like, well, England wasn't playing good and they got a draw out of this?
Yeah, they
I
did.
think there's a lot of variables at play here, and we need to. There's almost no way to compartmentalize it. It's really difficult to analyze this stuff because it's very rare, where you have, oh, well, this match matters, this match doesn't, this
Yeah.
match doesn't, this match matters.
Yeah. Yep.
How do I don't care what anybody says, the difference between games that really truly matter, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
Going out to play a friendly against a small country versus, holy shit, this is a World Cup qualifier, are two completely different things. And you can say you prepare for it the same all you want, but the reality is that they
Yeah.
just don't carry the same weight and intensity. And you
Mm-hmm.
can you can try to recreate it, but
Mm-hmm.
I just look, I'm not a professional footballer,
Mm-hmm.
but
You're not.
there's always been a difference in the level of competition,
Uh,
the mindset. And I gotta believe, and Kevin De Bruyne seems to confirm that they're
yeah.
like, you know what, this is not necessarily a match I necessarily wanted to have to play.
Right.
So it
Right.
is what it is.
So, but yeah, no, that's my take of Group E, and also some, a team to look at. Did you have anything that you wanted to say about a certain team or a certain person? I know you had mentioned someone, and I didn't know if you wanted to talk a little more about him. Oh, Messi.
Oh well, a lot of praises come his way. He scored 5 goals in a match the other day, and that came on the heels of beating Italy in the Finalissimo. And it's
Finalissimo.
look, I think it was a great idea to hold the match, and I think it would have been an even better idea to hold the match in Naples. And I think a lot of people wanted that to happen
Mm-hmm.
to honor Maradona.
Yeah.
I don't think the outcome of the game, I don't think you can read too much into it. Italy's going to be pissed that they lost. Yeah, look, nobody wants to play a match in front of a bunch of people and you lose. These guys are competitive.
Right. Sure.
The people are like, oh, these guys don't care. They just out for the
No,
money. No, you have
no.
no idea. These people are lazy. You clearly have no idea the effort and time it has taken players to get to this level.
Yeah,
You
Bill
know,
Casey.
well, people diss Paul Pogba, and there are plenty of things to criticize Paul Pogba for, but this kid grew up in a shitty part of Paris
Yeah.
and has fought his entire life, and he's blessed with some tremendous abilities that perhaps, you know, we're basically criticizing these guys for not being Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or Cristiano Ronaldo
Yeah.
for not wringing every last little drip of their talent out of themselves when
Right.
it's that's the reason why we have Michaels and Kobe's and Cristianos and these other greats of the game, Tom Brady's and Peyton's, is because they are fucking unique.
Yes.
Because they have made a decision to go above and beyond in a way that other people cannot. Lots of people are like, look, we all said I want to be great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of us ran into, oh my God, how do I have the ability to do it and how much work can I put into it? And the rare, finite, magical dust few who have it
Yeah.
and do it
Yeah.
are why we say their names. It's maybe not for everybody. That doesn't mean Paul Pogba isn't a worthy person, that
Right.
he doesn't have great game. He was disappointing at Manchester United.
Well,
Hopefully we never talk about Juan Sebastian Veron again. My God. That guy
well,
was voted player of the year and won a title. And people are like, this is the worst signing in Manchester United history. I'm like, really?
like,
We
come on
bought Paul
now.
Pogba twice.
Yeah.
You
But I mean,
fucking kidding me?
you think about it, man. These are the same people who, and I know that we're kind of diverging, but this is an important conversation. These are the same people that are probably giving death threats to um oh oh my gosh, you guys is midfielder. Um,
Bruno.
no, I'm sorry, not midfield. When he puts on an England jersey, he's Superman.
Maguire.
Yeah, Harry Maguire. These are the same folks
Yeah.
that are like, oh, Harry Maguire, and then threatening his wife and his kids and him and all this other stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute now, I just came back from the freaking dentist today, and I didn't want to do anything after I got done with a little toothache. I'm like, these guys have injuries all the
Yep.
time. And yes, they have top-notch staff. Yes, they've got but you know what? Your body heals the way your body heals.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get out there and you do it anyway. And it's
Mhm.
those athletes who get out there and do it despite these type of things. And we sit there and we criticize them. And that's a shame.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
absolute shame.
these guys destroy themselves for our entertainment,
Yeah.
and it's really only been within the last couple of decades where I would say if you are a consistent player at a high level that you have the means to look after yourself at the end of it,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Absolutely.
because the players associations have the league player associations historically have not looked out for players.
Right.
Look, I think that people would have been less critical, not critical, but less critical of the NFL if they'd have been like, yeah, we know about concussions and CTE and stuff, and that's why we've set aside a fund of $500 million for medical care for
Yeah.
these athletes,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
look, that's a for-profit league in that everybody watches,
Yeah.
and that doesn't happen. So why are we surprised that we have countless homeless veterans scattered around this country with mental health issues,
Mm-hmm.
poverty, and suicidal thoughts? They're one of the highest suicidal groups in the country. So, not to mix and mingle there, folks, but there's
I was
cause and
gonna say,
effect, there's correlation.
this
So,
sounds like the Evan and Aaron show. That's what
right, yeah, there's going to be a special show coming up. I think there's too much going on in the world, folks. So if you
Oh
like this,
man.
tune into that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
man, it all ties together.
Mhm.
You know, uh, Back to who was the original player? I'm sorry, that started this.
Um, I mentioned Harry Maguire, but
Okay,
I'm
Harry Maguire. Again, there's there are plenty to criticize about
oh no, you
people,
talked about Pogba, Paul Pogba.
but it's
Yeah.
personal attacks.
Hmm.
You can say I don't think Harry Maguire is a good enough defender to be at Manchester United, and I would like him to leave
Okay.
without demeaning his wife and children or
Mhm.
threatening their lives or talking stupid bullshit. And
Yep.
I don't even like lending air to that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a blight on the game. So many of so much of it is a blight on the game, and I just
Mhm.
don't want to highlight it. If you want to be a fan, be a fan. If you don't want to be a fan, there's a whole shit ton of other stuff out there to do in the world. There's like music and
Go check
art
out
and
cricket.
parks
Hey, it's
and
huge. Cricket is
pickleball
huge.
and all sorts of shit.
Yep.
And you can go throw axes at things if you're angry. That's like a whole new sport now, like to go and throw axes at shit. You don't have to
Uh,
get online and shit on Harry Maguire's family and be like, yeah, I just don't think he's good enough to play for Manchester United. I
yep.
think that covers it.
Yeah, I think so. And so, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the part of the show that is the Hey Aaron part of the show. And
Oh, we
this,
got a Hey Aaron
yeah,
tonight.
we do have a Hey Aaron tonight.
Whoop whoop.
It
But
is the
I got
22nd.
I need to come up with a Hey Aaron tone on here.
Yes, you do.
I've got
Yes, you do.
Chelsea, I've got United, I've got USA, I've got champions. I don't have anything for
Hmm.
I this will probably get us demonetized, but I just thought of a thing that
Oh,
I'm
you
going to
did. Well,
sample.
no, no,
Yes.
wait. Before you do that,
Hmm.
I was like, hey, let me see if something, kind of tickles your fancy here because
Oh,
I've
I
been
love it when my
experiencing
fancy gets
the
tickled.
whole, good old Riverside. So here you go.
Riverside, motherfucker.
Can you hear that?
I can hear that. That's nice.
Isn't that sexy right there? Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh, yeah.
welcome to the Hey Aaron segment of the show.
Damn.
See?
Dude, I am
right there, man.
Woo. Idris, it's getting hot up in here.
See, man, I'm telling you, that right there that very well could be the thing. That could be the thing.
I think that's what you turn on Friday nights when Mrs. Evan. Do you just ever bust out the microphone? You're like, come on in here. It's time.
You know, I just yeah, I gotta say I like me some
it's time for the quiet storm.
Close the door. Anyway, yeah. We're going to take a look tonight at the 2022 transfer window in the English Premier League. I'm going to say some names. I'm going to tell you where they're going, and I want you to kind of give your thoughts.
These are things that have happened or are rumored to be happening?
Things that are happening July 1st.
Ah, okay. Yes. All right. Gotcha.
Now, they're already done.
Yeah, I get it. Nope. Yep. Totally understand.
Okay, here we go. Antonio Rudiger from Chelsea to Real Madrid. How do you think that's going to work out, A.A.
Ron? I think he'll be okay for a little bit. I question his on the ball ability for how much Real Madrid are going to want to play out of the back in the modern game. You know, I've had my criticisms. I think he's a good level player. I'll give him until 18 months, you know, from the beginning of the season to determine. I'm not going to judge him on his first year. If he doesn't completely bed in, that's not necessarily his fault. I question whether he's got the technical game. I think his physicality in Spain is going to go a long way. I wonder if this move only happened because of all the craziness surrounding Chelsea at the time and uncertainty over his contract future. So he's like, I'm just going to go ahead and do this because I can, because I don't know if Chelsea's going to be able to. And I wonder if he would have stayed had none of that been going on.
Okay. Interesting. I do not want to slaughter his last name, but this one's interesting. From International, Ivan Perisic.
Very well.
Tottenham Hotspur. What do you think about that one?
I think he's a pretty good player that's kind of bounced around a little bit. I feel like Inter to Tottenham is sort of a horizontal move, maybe a horizontal rung down. It's hard to compare the two clubs because Inter is really all over the place at times, and so is Tottenham. I would imagine he's going there because of Conte. So I could see that working out well. But if history tells me anything, Tottenham's going to do Tottenham shit and fuck it up.
I don't know, man. They found their form at the end of the season a little bit. So, anything could happen. Anything could happen. How about this one? Boubacar Kamara from Marseille to Aston Villa. Do you know anything about Boubacar?
Yeah, decent player. I think. Let's see. Let me look him up real quick because I want to make sure.
Yeah, that was the wild card out of this. I only got like 3 more.
Boubacar.
Yeah.
Kamara. Is he Senegalese? No, he's actually French. Okay.
French.
It's probably a good move for both of them in that he will get more exposure. You know, Marseille is a good club. Sure. And in the grand scheme of things, probably a bet. You know, if Marseille and Aston Villa played each other, Marseille would probably win. But Aston Villa have a bit more notoriety. What I think will probably happen is he will go there, play well, Aston Villa will look good for a while and then be Aston Villa, and he'll stay there for a couple years and end up at Real Madrid or Barcelona because this is what happens to guys.
Okay.
And maybe not those clubs, but my point is that, see, I said Senegalese. Um, um, is that this is a stepping stone from a league that doesn't get as much notoriety, even though the club is bigger, to more notoriety at Aston Villa. He will play well there for them,
Mm-hmm.
and someone else will come in for him. You know,
Yeah.
he'll leave Aston Villa and go to Tottenham, or he'll leave Aston Villa
Mm.
and go to
Chelsea.
Borussia Dortmund or something. Yeah, Chelsea. I
Yeah.
mean, this you watch the game long enough, you sort of see these things,
Mm-hmm.
and it's funny. You look at a guy who's getting a lot of good run now, and you look back and you're like, oh yeah, I remember he spent like a season on loan at West Ham and tore it up, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, I it's probably a good move for everybody involved. He's not going to be an Aston Villa legend. He will move on from there.
Okay. Two Americans. Matt Turner's going from the New England Revolution to Arsenal.
Hmm.
How do you feel about that? You think
Well,
he's ready?
I think the problem is he's not going to get much game time. I'm trying to think who. So Bernd Leno was Arsenal's goalie, and then he got hurt, and I didn't type enough words in, so I didn't get the search result I wanted. Um, so Aaron Ramsdale
Ramsdale.
stepped up,
Yeah.
and a
Yeah.
lot of people weren't sure if he was going to be ready, and he played his ass off. He was probably one of the
He
goalies of the season
he
last
did.
year. Um, so I think Matt Turner's problem is, Mikel Arteta has a guy that he trusts,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got a back line of defenders who trust that goalkeeper.
Yeah.
What I do like is here's another kid who's going to get an opportunity to play some cup competitions and establish himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, Zach Steffen's been that guy, and Ethan Horvath has been that guy, and neither of them have been able to really establish themselves.
Mm.
What I'd like to see is for Matt Turner go to Arsenal, and then whether the big question mark is, does Bernd Leno stay? If Bernd Leno stays, then Aaron Ramsdale should stay there for a season, see what kind of game time he gets, and then say, send me out on loan,
Yeah.
and see
Yeah.
if he can distinguish himself.
Interesting.
It's really really hard to know, and the goalkeepers are, it's like the catcher position in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
It's a strange commodity, and managers have certain things they love, or they're looking for a very particular thing, and because there's only one, it's limited. I like him. I think he's played really really well. He's my choice to start for the United States right now.
Mm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I hope the opportunities he gets, he takes full advantage of.
Yeah. Two more. Second American I want to talk about. Brendan Aronson going from Salzburg to Leeds.
Mm-hmm.
What you think, man? I think that's not a
Well,
bad
it's
move
a
at all.
it's a reunion with Jesse Marsh.
Yeah.
Um, it's another American in the Premier League. He has proven himself, capable
Mm-hmm.
at a club like Salzburg.
Mm-hmm.
Leeds struggled this year.
Yeah.
Um, and part of that was struggling to put the ball in the back of the net. And I don't know that he's going to be a prolific goal scorer, but he could be a prolific assist guy,
Mm-hmm.
in the buildup. And it's just good to see. I mean, the American in me says, yeah, awesome. Another American in the Premier League,
Yeah. Yeah.
and there's no reason for me to believe he won't start or get good minutes. So I'm excited for that. He will do as well as Leeds does.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Finally, the big one.
Mm-hmm.
Erling Holland from Borussia Dortmund to Manchester City. How do you see that unfolding, my friend?
I see two scenarios. He's had some recent injury issues, and he's at that age right now where they're putting a lot of minutes on guys. There's a lot of expectations. There's a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So on the one hand, I could see him. I don't think he's going to mentally struggle, but I think I could see some frustrations if he can't get a consistent game or, can't play on a regular because of some ankle injuries
Mm,
or things like that.
okay.
He's, I won't say he's petulant, but he's a big dude, and you notice it when he's not happy.
Yep.
And there's always the question mark of, no matter what the club is, do guys fit? Do personalities fit? Does the system fit? Do you fit the system?
Right.
But I think he's probably going to score 4,000 fucking goals, and Manchester City's going to run away with the league.
And
Because
3,999 of them is going to be against Man U and Chelsea. That's
I,
exactly
I,
what's going to happen.
I look back and think I would have hated for it to happen. But if Cristiano Ronaldo would have signed for Manchester City before this season, he'd have 40 goals.
Ugh.
And Erling Haaland isn't Cristiano Ronaldo, but he's as prolific and natural and gifted a goal scorer as I've seen in a very, very long time. And he's hungry. He's what, like 21, 22.
Yeah.
This kid gobbles up goals. So,
And
yeah.
by the end, Dortmund
Worst case
was not.
scenario, I think he struggles because of the physicality of the league. Best case scenario, he wins the golden boot just walking away because Manchester City have been crying out for a number 9 for 2 years now.
Yeah.
And this guy is it. He is it.
Okay. All right.
All right. At the end of Hey Aaron, though, I got to come back at you with
Oh.
one transfer rumor.
Ooh.
It's
Okay.
it's not done, but everybody likes the idea of it because of the reunion.
Mm-hmm.
It will not make you happy, my friend. Christian Pulisic to
No.
Liverpool to play under Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah. Yeah. I just I'm I purposefully didn't touch this because I'm kind of nervous about it, man. I mean, who wouldn't want to play for their old skipper? I mean, who wouldn't want to play for for the guy
Of
who
course.
really did mentor and tutor and bring up and encourage and cajole, all that type of stuff to
Yeah.
get you to the level that you're playing. Who wouldn't want to do that?
He
How?
may have done the most to get him to
Oh,
where
hands down.
Tuchel can be polishing him. Yeah.
Hands down. However, I think that if he has the right people talking to him, in my opinion, you
He'll come to
as
Manchester United.
now as as Cinderella as it would sound, as a wonderful Hallmark movie as it would sound, you move forward. You keep moving forward. And I think that if Tuchel is getting him to play at a level that is now his top level,
Mhm.
there's nothing to take away from what you know Jurgen did with him
Mhm.
and brought him up. Nothing to take away, but I don't go back just because I loved my teacher Penny Profit. I don't go back to the fourth grade to get a doctorate style of education.
Well,
I
but
just
he
don't.
wouldn't be going back. He wouldn't be going back to Dortmund. He'd be going back to one of
I
the top
know.
clubs in the
No.
country in the world.
Stop messing up my metaphor. All I'm
And
saying.
do you realize how hard it is for me to say that? How much I
Oh yeah, no, I know, I know.
absolutely hate that, especially since the
Yes.
guy's a fucking Manchester United fan. And if we
Yeah.
weren't in such a shit show of a place, we'd be talking about a
Oh, I'm
front
sure.
line of Marcus Rashford, Jaden Sancho, and Christian Pulisic.
I just, I think I would hope that someone's in Pulisic's ear saying, "Hey, dude, stay put. You've got immense opportunities on this team. You have the opportunity, literally in a year or two, to captain this team if you keep
As a
playing."
U.S. fan, well, no. Okay, first off, I'm gonna have to stop you there.
I
He's
knew you were going to say something.
Pulisic will
I
not
was like,
ever be captain of
that's
Chelsea.
just, dude. I just threw it out there because I wanted to see your
But I
reaction.
will say this: I agree with you that there's no reason for him to move. There's no reason to
No,
go anywhere else.
no.
He's in the second or third year of this project, and I think that Romelu Lukaku's probably going.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
another striker is coming in. I think a few people are going to go, and I think this is an opportunity for him to solidify a starting position.
Mm-hmm.
You know, really him and Mount opposite a true number 9. I
Yeah.
think just that's got to terrify people.
Yep.
You know, I I question whether Ziyech is still going to be there just because he's going to get his head turned by Bayern, and
Yeah.
I'm just not so sure.
Or
Who's
Havertz.
the other? I'm not. Oh, or
Yeah.
Havertz. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He's
Havertz.
the
And then
one.
Ziyech. I think he stays though. I think Ziyech stays.
I think Ziyech stays, but he reminds me a lot of Riyad Mahrez. He just never looks happy. So you just, well, that's
No,
something to
that's
take
a good
into
point.
account. I
Good
mean,
point.
people mocked Paul Pogba's comments lately about saying, I need to be somewhere I feel loved, and a lot of people are like, well,
Mm,
that's some bullshit. But I'm like,
yeah.
you know what? If your home fans are booing you and you feel like you're giving your all,
Yeah.
then what's your incentive? Look, they can say I don't think you're doing what you're supposed to do, but if you think you're doing what you're supposed to do and you're not getting love, because
Mm-hmm.
look, let's face it, the hardest times are when things aren't going well, and that's when
Yep.
the fans are needed the most to be like, look, I get it, we suck, but I'm gonna clap for you because I know that you need that little bit extra right now to maybe get over the hump,
Right.
and I want you to do well. I'd love Paul Pogba. I think he's a friggin' amazing footballer, and I
Mm-hmm.
am frustrated that he hasn't shown as much for United. But I don't personally know the guy, so to make cast aspersions on the guy's character and that he doesn't care and all this stuff, that's kind of bullshit from fans,
Yeah.
and it really, really
I
makes
agree.
me mad. If you know some stuff for a fact, then okay, but put it out there and
Yeah.
let's have it,
Mm-hmm.
because everything else is just speculation. And I go back to this notion of, oh, these guys don't care. Bullshit.
They
Do you
do.
know, you have no idea what it takes to get anywhere near this level of play,
Yep.
and to think these guys don't care. I just, that that one frustrates me, man. I always come back to that, and of course I'm going to be on the player's side,
Oh,
but
sure.
I'm sorry.
No, 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 no. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, that was, see, I got you queued up too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. That was the Hey Aaron segment of the show.
Oh yeah.
You gotta love that. Just that, yeah. And so I'm gonna cut it off there.
Oh yeah.
Ladies and
Get a
gentlemen,
little
thank
crowd
you.
applause for you.
Hey, that's what happens, man. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight with this kind of technology okay episode, man.
To go a little bit better.
It went
Seemed to go a
better.
little
It went
bit better. So
better.
maybe
Yeah.
we can live with Riverside. We'll see. We'll see. We'll
So,
see.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Now is the best part of the show where I get to sit back and I get to finish off my wonderful bourbon and listen to Aaron's final thoughts.
What kind
Aaron,
of bourbon you got there, man?
this is Abelore. This is
Oh,
yes,
nice.
yes. It's
I
actually
like
not
a
a
nice
bourbon.
Aberlour.
It's a Scotch whiskey, and
Mm-hmm.
it is
Is that the 14?
is it 16 maybe? Is it?
All
I
right.
don't know.
Nice.
I don't know the increments. I have
Nice.
no idea. But it's
Nice.
a teen. It's a teen. So there you go.
Well, we're
Um,
also two grown men who shouldn't be talking about age.
oh,
So
yeah, that's
that'll
true.
get you in trouble every time.
What you got for us, my man?
As
What you
Dimitri Martin said, you can say things like, I love children. You
got?
just can't say things like, I love 12-year-olds. Um, Copyright not infringed. I gave him credit. I gave him
You
credit. I gave
did.
him
You did.
credit.
You did.
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet, man. Yesterday was my 9th anniversary. Yeah.
Hit that
And I gotta
applause.
say,
Hit that applause button, brother.
last couple of years, for those who've been perhaps following along in some form or another, know that there's been some crazy shit going on in the world, like a pandemic, an entire crisis of democracy,
Yeah.
and the normal things that everybody else experiences, but I got to experience all at once: health issues, death in the family, pets, all sorts of shit, household problems. And I tell you what, it's been tough at times to get through. And then last month, Wife had a birthday, and we had a great time together. And yesterday was just a reminder of, when you find that special person, whether it's your best friend,
Yep.
um, somebody you met last week, somebody you've known for 10 years, um, gay, straight, black, white, whatever. When you meet that person and make a connection, nurture it, lean into it,
Mm-hmm.
and remember how important it is, because it's tough, and we all need each other, and we all need that support. So, gonna keep it short and sweet. Remember, we're allies. Supporting that Miami nation, supporting Gay
Yep.
Pride Month, LGBTQ plus community in our hearts. Indy 11 playing right now, so hopefully somebody's got this flag up. The Indy
Nice.
11 ladies have started off the season great, so everybody keep it up, show that love for one another. Go march in the Pride Parade this week. Hashtag say gay.
Hashtag Black People Vote.
Black people vote. Love y'all.
Love you.
Evan and Aaron, Red and Blue Soccer Chat.
Peace.